Hi, I'm Autumn. I am the intuitive money healer who paints, and today I am doing a live demo, kind of how to get started with intuitive painting. Now, I was really afraid to get started painting. I wanted to do it, and but there was just this fear. And finally, my mentor told me, start with one canvas, get 4 of your favorite colors of paint, and a brush, and just do it. Even if you spend just 15 minutes painting, just do it. So I have a 16 by 20 canvas here that I'm going to start with. I have my 4 favorite colors that I started with. This sort of light blue, a yellow green, a dark pink, and a purple. Now these are sort of student grade acrylic paints, but you know what? I think they're perfectly fine to get started, and even if you have the craft type paints that come in the little tube, you can work with those too. So I am just going to squeeze some of these on my plate here, which is what I use for a palette. I normally paint with some music on too, and I try to get some music going with this, but I know Facebook likes to pull down things that has copyrighted music, and I was browsing SoundCloud, trying to find some Creative Commons stuff, and I finally just gave up and decided to do it in silence. Alright, looks like I'm using the remnants of the bottom of these tubes. Alright, but I think I got enough to work with. So I have some paint squeezed out on my plate. I have a coffee cup of water for my brushes. The 2 brushes that I'm using are the very first 2 that I started with. This flat one is called a flat size 8. And this one with a little more rounded tip is called a filbert and is also a size 8. Apparently, I like to work with size 8 brushes. So, rather than having just this blank canvas with no ideas of what to start with, I like to start with an intention, and usually that is based around maybe a problem I'm trying to find a solution to. And tonight I'm doing something a little different. I actually pulled an oracle card and have an affirmation to go with that. And the one I'm working with is around manifestation. So my intention that I'm working with is, I will be filled with a vision of everything that I want my life to be, do, and have, and let the magic happen. So that is the intention that I am starting to approach the canvas with. I always like to do a little quick grounding and get really centered so that I'm here and I'm really present with the canvas, with my paint, and with my intention. So I'm going to take just a second, close my eyes, take a deep breath, maybe another one. I've never done this in front of somebody before, so it may take me a little extra to get grounded and centered. Now, the great thing about intuitive painting is you do not need to be an artist. I am by no means like into sketching or regular art. You know, I do call myself an artist because I end up with things that I are art to me. But a lot of people, when they think artist, it puts a lot of pressure. So really, this is about coming to canvas to play, to have fun, to explore, and to listen to your intuition and the guidance while working with the paint and the brush. So let's get started. And I'm going to try and walk you, share what's coming through as I paint. And this is kind of also new for me. I'm used to sitting down with my journal afterwards and sort of recording what came through. So we'll see. It's a new experiment for both of us. So start with just what feels good. what color attracts me the most right now is the light blue. So I'm just going to put some on my brush, and I'm going to start here in the middle. And I tend to like these little X marks, okay? It's not uncommon for me to start with that. Okay. And as you get the inner nudge to do something else, maybe pick a different color, feeling the urge to go with a little pink, follow that nudge. If the thought crosses your mind that says, I really would like to do this, don't hesitate, don't think about it, just do it. Okay, now I'm feeling some purple. Okay, more X's. Let's see what's showing up here. Now you've of course got it backwards from what I actually see. So purple, to me, is sort of the color of spirit. We've got this hot pink, which I've been told is sort of the color of the divine feminine, which just feels really awesome. I like that a lot. And we've got the color of blue. Let's see, I love to mix my colors just right on the canvas. So blue is the color of truth, it's the color of communication. And what I'm getting right now, we're talking about being true to you, communicating who you are, and really bringing the fullness of who you are through in everyday life, in everything that you do. Which is where the magic of the manifestation happens. So we've got the blue sort of surrounded by the spirit. So we have your truth, the truth of who you are, always supported by the spiritual realm. And maybe it's this filbert brush. It gives me that sort of feathery thing that a lot of my art seems to have. These little feathery strokes. So I'm still feeling the purple. It's kind of mixed with the blue here in spots with some, look, a little periwinkle there. And maybe down back to the pink. Now, the divine feminine is all about flow and creativity and allowing. And I'm sure you know that in manifestation, there's no pushing. You cannot push manifestation. You have to allow manifestation. So we have here, underneath the spiritual purple, the purple of spirit, and the blue of the truth of who you are and the communication of who you are, we have a whole lot of this divine feminine, a deep love, supporting manifestation. I'm feeling some green here. Green, for me, is about healing and growth. Now we're getting kind of some weird colors because I'm mixing with the pink here, but one of my very favorite things about the intuitive painting is watching these colors just blend right on the canvas and create different colors. And so we've got some healing and some growth here, along with our divine feminine and love. Alright, still some more green. Bringing in a little more of that freshness. Mixing to a very fascinating color here with that pink. So now I'm going to go back into the pink. Maybe a little bit of that purple. Now I notice that everything is sort of slanting to the right here. Well, okay, for me it's the right. I suppose for you it probably looks like the left. Everything's kind of going up in this way. Now I would take that to mean this is moving into the future. The left would be your past, so we're moving into from the past through the present and into the future. And of course, we manifest. We can't manifest from the past. We only manifest from the present, and we see that in the future. Interesting, this blue. See? Let's bring a little more blue in here. All right. And I will just keep going until I feel the urge to pick a new color, to pick a new method. Whatever that inner nudge is that comes next is always what I do and follow. So right now we're bringing in a lot more truth. You know, we had that layer sort of a purple under there. So now we're layering the truth, and the communication of who you are is overlaying the spirit that was supporting the truth and communication of before. All right. That's sort of a sky blue. Making me think of sort of a sunny summer day, maybe a sunny fall day. I saw a little peek of the blue sky today while I was out getting dinner. It was pretty cloudy, but there was a little sky showing through, and it just, that blue sky provides such a sense of hope and happiness. And really is just a small pleasure to enjoy on a daily basis, like it's a blue sky every day. Certainly not in Wisconsin where I live, so it was really enjoyable to see that blue sky today. And, you know, in the manifestation process, you know, you need to find that way to feel good and joyful as much as possible whenever you can. So that little moment sitting on the bench waiting for my dinner to be finished, I got to admire that blue sky, and that really was a sort of a moment of peace and joy right there for a few moments. So, alrighty. Still feeling this upward movement. Now, the mind wants to jump in and say, ugh, I don't like this, or I don't like that, or that's ugly, and you need to just ignore that. This is not about the mind at all. This is about having fun. It's about listening to the guidance that can come through while you're painting, because the physicality of the process can really get you out of your mind and into your body. Your mind will try and intrude, but just let it go. You know, you can listen to the mind and say, thank you, but I am not listening to your comments right now. So I was getting a little not sure where this was going. What do I do next? And that was my mind. Okay? So I'm just going to keep going with the feelings. The urge to do whatever brush stroke I feel like. Okay. Whatever color I want to work with. Now, I don't use a lot of symbols and stuff, and in my painting, I tend to mostly just work with the brush marks themselves, and I suspect I feel some some finger painting coming on here soon. I use my hands a lot. So, what was I saying? Okay, I got a paper towel here to wipe my brush off when it gets too messy. So some people really like to work with symbolism. They might draw circles or squares or triangles or who knows, whatever, hearts. But right now I'm still really working with the marks I can get from my brush and the few tools that I have accumulated. I use only the tools that speak to me intuitively when I'm out shopping. I did not go out and buy every paint color, every canvas size, every brush that's out there, and every doodad that you can use to create art. I actually have very few supplies. I have picked up a few things here and there. I have some tools you can scrape with and some palettes, but today I'm still just demonstrating with the 2 brushes and the 4 colors of paint that I originally started with, because really I think intuitive painting can be beneficial to anybody who wants to give it a try, and you don't need a lot to get started. So that is why I'm really working with so few supplies today, to show that you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot to create. You don't need a lot to get the guidance that comes through while you're painting, and you really should just do it. So, these paints are telling me to get my hands in there. And I almost always end with some finger painting. So, I think it's one of my favorite things. Takes me back to, I don't recall finger painting when I was a kid, but it's just really fun to get down and dirty with the paint, okay? And I like to do these, it's almost like the canvas is a drum, and I just like to tap on it. And I grab the colors that call to me, and I just do what calls to me. Right now it's this tapping. We're working with the purples, we're bringing in a lot more of that spiritual energy, the general spirits. One thing I do like to do while I'm working is sort of get some paint on the sides of the canvas so that they're not just plain white. So I just feel the urge to stop and do that for a second, and I just smush it on. I tend to do that part with my hands too. Okay, so I'm feeling the need for a little green, but I'm gonna wipe my hands off just a little bit. Hi Peggy! Nice to have you drop by. I was just doing a little demonstration of how to get started intuitive painting with very few supplies and the first 4 colors that I started with. I think we're actually getting down here on the end, but I have moved from using the brush to my hands, which is always my favorite thing to do. So I've got this spring green color I'm going to bring in here again. And sometimes I like to get a little swirly rather than just the drumbeat tappy. And the spring green, often I use kind of like a yellow, and it's mixing with this pink to get a really interesting coral color. Now, I know my color sort of meanings for certain things, but I certainly have no idea what coral might be. I'm not even sure I know what spring green might be from a technical standpoint. Like I said, green tends to be all about healing for me, and the spring green is really a fresh color and new growth. And again, the intention was all about manifesting. Let's see, what was it? I will be filled with a vision of everything I want my life to be, do, and have. So that's interesting. We've gotten a lot of support on that intention from Spirit. A lot of purple. We've got a lot of support here and reminder of the feminine nature of manifestation that we need to allow. So in our vision of manifesting, we need to allow. But we had a lot of blue, the truth and communication. Now truth, you know, manifest what you want, the truth of what you want, you know, not for other people. Your life is your expression to live, and you really do need to live the truth of you. So when you're choosing to manifest, it really needs to be something that you want, that maybe you're not doing for other people or what other people think you should manifest. Alright, so this is interesting. Still a lot more green here and freshness sort of overlaying the divine feminine, allowing energy. Okay. Now sometimes, like I've said, it's all about following the prompts and the inner nudges, and it's really not about creating a final piece that you can call art. Though some do and some will. What I'm getting now is the message to wipe some of this off. Okay? So, there's been a couple times when I've been painting where I've just been terrified. Like, I've got this thing I love and you want me to what? So I'm going to add one more supply I didn't talk about, and that is a spray bottle of water. And I am just going to spray this with a layer of mist. Oh, and wad up my paper towel. And I'm going to go now into the swirls. I feel a swirly energy. So what are we doing here? We're mixing our blue and our purple. We're mixing our voice and our truth and spirit and communication. We're mixing in divine feminine, and we're mixing in the healing and growth of the green. So what we're doing here is really bringing and combining all these elements all together into one swirly concoction. Alright, so this may not look like much as an end result for today, but really, we've gotten a lot of messages that have come through regarding the intention we set for manifestation. And the painting is telling me we're complete for today. So I'm really loving this soft peachy down here. We've got a lot of paint, and maybe you can't see it, but there's actually a lot of texture in the swirls. And this is not a finished project, so I'll probably come back and work on it for a few more minutes another time. Maybe with the same intention, maybe with a different intention. I tend to keep at least one piece going all the time that I just paint over and over and over again to see what comes through, the guidance and the messages. So I don't know how much of this you caught, Peggy. Do you have any questions? I'm going to just smooth some more paint on the sides here since I've got so much on my paper towel. And I like those sides to be covered with paint. You like the peachy too, yeah. And who'd think that a hot pink and a spring green can make such an interesting peachy color? So I'm going to turn this a little bit and just show you what I do with the sides. Now, I have this nifty little easel thingy. It's sort of a travel easel that was given to my husband when he was in art school. I stole it and now I use it. But sometimes I just use a flat surface of my desk for that. So while my hands are dirty, I tend to like to do the sides and just smoosh paint. I don't like the sides to be white. It's just a personal thing. Some people paint them black, some people leave them white. I like to just take the colors that I've been using and catch all the edges. Now, I know I've got my hands on the front here, so we'll have to see what happened. Maybe it's time to turn the whole painting upside down and see what else we can see. Or sideways. I got a little purple on this still. Alrighty. I'm still feeling upright. Alright, so I got a little fingerprints on there. And you know what that says to me? We all put our personal touch on the way that we manifest. There is a lot of how-tos in manifesting. And some people get really frustrated when a process doesn't work for them. But you really need to put your own stamp on that, your own personal fingerprint on your manifesting methods. So, oh, you like that. Thank you. Okay, I see you left it. Okay, Peggy says, amazing what comes forth. Just wanted to watch. Well, I'm so happy, Peggy, that you did come watch. Really I am. So thank you. I'm calling this complete for today. Of course, it may never be complete because we're always manifesting and working into our future, and the expression I love recently is painting our dreams into life, and that is really my philosophy often when I come to the canvas here, is that I deal with the life issues that I want to overcome, that I want to manifest, and I work them out with paint on the canvas. And for me, it's a form of meditation. So, you know, we all have our ways of achieving the things that where we want to get in our lives, and painting for me it's a healing process, it's a growth process, it's a place I can get guidance and advice, and I just wanted to show that it doesn't take a lot of supplies. It's not hard to do, and if you ever have the urge or desire to give it a go, just do it. The rewards really are amazing. So thank you. And if you've watched this on the replay, I love any comments. If you loved it, you could share it. Hit that like button, hit that love button, and I will see you another time. Thanks, and good night.